good morning, and welcome to Today in L.A. That's Lower Alabama. I'm Mike Amos. We're coming to you from our studios on South Brundage Street, Troy Cablevision. We've been doing this since 1998, and with me before he was born, Bill Rice was sitting at home saying, "I wish I could be like Mike Amos."
Now, tell me the story about how y'all decided to do this show. I know you were doing the football games and the parades and all the local events, but how did you say, let's do a morning show?
Well, just worked around it. In fact, like I said, we started in '98 and have done it ever since then. But we were doing a lot of different things, like a lot of games and so forth, and we just thought it would be something that Troy might want.
Did you go to Harold and say, let's do it?
Well, yeah, and Harold's all for it. I tell you, Harold was a very innovative, talking about Harold Freeman, the owner and founder of Troy Cablevision, and he had a lot of vision, and he wanted this to be a community cable television network that would be like the slogan for a long time, Troy Cable, where Pike County watches itself.
Great program.
And then we started doing parades and little league games and city council meetings, and as much local interest as possible. In fact, we're still like that today. We'd love to have any of you that have a organization.
Well, at some point, though, you had to get the studio, so that meant they had to buy a different building, right, and make a studio.
Well, yeah, they did, and this was something that he did. And he knew this would be something he was going to have. And see, he already had the studio. All we had to do was sit in there, and then later on, Bud Casey, former Auburn coach, and joined in, and we joined. So we had Troy Cable's Today in L.A., and then at 6 o'clock every morning we had the Bud Amos show, and that was early morning, starting at 6 o'clock.
And then other people have done shows out of the studio. There's a big show in Montgomery that was real popular that they came and
he came down here, and Ralph Black and Rick Stetson had it for a while, but we took it and ran with it, and it's been very successful.
You talking about when Wendy Breeze used to be on?
Yeah. Wendy Breeze used to come out in his, what do you call it? He came out and danced for everybody, did the weather.
Yeah.
He drove all the way down here from Montgomery every morning to do the weather.
What's that guy's name? He's a nice guy. I haven't met him.
Larry something.
No, not Larry, but he's telling us.
So it's not the guy that used to do Good Day Montgomery?
Yeah, Johnny Green. Well, Johnny Green was another one.
Montgomery from Troy.
Yeah. Who's the head guy? Larry Hagley. Yeah.
Well, he still does the show. He does the show with somebody else. That show's been on forever.
Yeah, and I think
he's got a good following.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's been doing it out of Montgomery for a long time, and does a lot of talk, a lot of call in. Now Wendy's not doing it anymore. Remember your mask today. The more and more people, and I was getting chicken yesterday from Crows, and there were several people. I tell you, Crows they've got an extended menu now that really makes it good. Their catfish is outstanding. But yesterday I wanted to make sure that I got my order in, and then I went back and got in my truck.
That's what I do too. I went there a week or so ago, and that's what everybody does. They do their order, then they go get in their car and listen to the radio.
And I had to go to Lowe's to pick up something yesterday. I reckon it was yesterday, or was it Saturday? It was Saturday, and I had to pick up something, and I got halfway in there. I said, I don't have my mask, and I tell you what, these businesses don't want you to come in there without your mask. I'll tell you that right now.
That's who enforces the mask ordinances of the businesses. Yeah.
And of course, birds, same way there, and most everywhere. If you're leaving your automobile to go into a business, and a grocery store especially, where there's a lot of people, Walmart will not let you in the building without a mask on.
That's serious.
And Lowe's is the same way. And
Doesn't
rightfully
look like you got
so.
quite a haircut.
Yeah, I got a little different cut. The lady at Raymond's, I just let her do it like she wanted to, and then I ended up getting
Right,
this,
don't ever let a
military
barber
haircut.
do it like he would. Don't ever let a barber cut your hair away with it. They won't too.
This will last me a long time, though. It's a good summer cut.
I
so
think you did, yeah.
I'm trying to get somebody to give me a shave. I need a shave pretty bad.
There was a gentleman.
There he is right there,
There
yeah.
was a gentleman in Raymond's seat that came in with a big old beard and long shaggy hair, and he looked like a different person when Raymond got done with him. He gave him a
Raymond.
good short haircut. He shaved off his whole beard, gave him an old-fashioned shave, you know, where he did it for him. You just don't see that often anymore.
So now we're going to the black. We're going to the black mass.
Well, and the thing about it is, am I here to rob your bank? Hey.
Put some sunglasses and a hat on. You be good to go.
That's right. I'm
I
ready.
thought about that. It happened to me all. I mean, now, and then people have a lot bigger masks than that.
Yeah, and I can hear those Florida State folks saying, "Whoa, wow, 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 wow."
You gotta be politically correct, man. Come on, man.
You know what, Mike? Out
they
of
got
all,
away with the chop in Atlanta.
out of all the big programs in the country, and we're gonna start this off today. The program to me that had dropped the furthest is Florida State. They're not near the program they've been doing. Don't you agree? Do you agree with that,
Close
Mike?
would be the Miami Hurricanes that dominated college football for
In Miami,
15, 20 years.
Exactly. Miami's another one that dropped. And is it the coach? Was he the difference, or who's the difference here, Mike?
Coaching, no doubt, in Miami. Miami had great coaches.
Well,
Miami never had the fan base and the tradition, and you know, it was very rare they sold out.
I'll tell you what.
All those guys have got great talent at Miami, but the coaching is the one that can.
And that quarterback, Vinny Testaverde, the 6'5" out of the Bronx, New York. That was the difference in Miami. They had big-time quarterbacks.
Jim Kelly, too.
They had Jim Kelly. That's who started off. Kozar, Testaverde. I love that.
And Steve Walsh was a good player.
You know, Toretta, the SEC Network replayed the 1992 National Championship game the other night, and I haven't watched that in years. So Gino Toretta had an awful game
against Alabama, and he won the Heisman Trophy. But that's you look at almost every Heisman Trophy winner. Pat Sullivan, the great one of the great people of all times, one of the great quarterbacks, college quarterbacks in history, was Pat Sullivan. But against Alabama, after he had won the Heisman, it was all Johnny Musso. Musso to the right and Musso to the left, and Alabama won 34-7.
There's a Heisman Trophy jinx, I think.
It's a jinx,
when
exactly.
you go to a bowl game, or once you win the Heisman Trophy, it's rare that you
how would you like to be at the University of Miami and your quarterback was this popular? His name was Vinny Testaverde, and they would play this song over the PA. It says, Vinny Testaverde. And they would sing that song, the greatest quarterback in the land, Vinny Testaverde.
Did y'all watch that amazing golf tournament yesterday? The golf in Memphis was incredible yesterday.
Yeah. It really was.
I mean, the 2 weeks in a row, an Alabama golfer has won the PGA
And it didn't matter one bit whether there was anybody in the stands. They had those. And let me tell you, that's what they're going to do in college football. Yesterday they had the big board up, video board up, or whatever you want to call it, and they pump crowd noise in. I believe that's what they're going to do with college football.
They pump crowd noise at the golf tournament?
Yeah, you didn't hear that?
No, they wouldn't pump that music into a golf
They
tournament.
did. They didn't not as much. Well, it was music, but it was.
You had several people in Memphis that have beautiful homes on the course. You might have heard music in the background of some of the houses.
No, they had a board there, Mike, that actually played music and played crowd noise. It was crowd noise.
At the golf tournament.
Yes,
I watched the whole thing. I never heard any of it.
All right. Well, hey, I'm just an old man,
You're not talking
Mike.
about you're not talking about basketball?
Hey, Mike, I'm just an old man, and you're letting a billion people think you're telling me off in front of a billion people on Facebook. Aren't you ashamed? Aren't you ashamed?
All I can say this is Phil Mickelson's 50 years old and tied for second yesterday.
All right, he's about my age. Good job.
Phil tied along with four others.
That's incredible. I don't think enough people are talking about that. Compared to what Thomas did.
Your daddy and I were talking about it before we came on there. I said, what about Phil Mickelson showing those young whippersnappers?
Phil went out and shot 67, 70, 66, and 67 again, and he was 3 strokes back.
And he was out driving Justin Thomas on a lot of holes.
I mean, right now, you got to think Justin Thomas, though, he's already won 13 tournaments. He's 27. Only Woods and Nicklaus have done that at an earlier age. You got to think he's going to go down maybe as a guy that might win 30 or 40 times and win 5 or 6 majors.
Of course,
if he can sustain it, let's see if he can sustain it.
He's the youngest player to ever win three games in a year, so that's saying a lot right there.
No, he won 5 or 6 a few years ago.
Well, what was it about winning his third tournament of the year?
That's his world golf tournament he's won.
Yeah. Well, you know, and the thing that makes everybody feel good, I bet he doesn't weigh 160 pounds with pink pants on yesterday.
He's worked out a lot, though. You can tell he's getting a lot stronger.
Yeah, but you know what's going to happen to him? He's going to get all pumped up, and he's going to find a girlfriend. He's going to do just like Speed, just turn away and never hear from him again.
So a woman.
I've always thought women had were that strong. They could make a number one golfer forget golf and go home to a newlywed.
I'm gonna rebut your argument. You ready?
Yeah.
One Barbara Nicklaus and Jack Nicklaus got married right when they graduated from Ohio State University, and it didn't seem to. I think it kind of helped Jack Nicklaus to have Barbara.
Exactly right. But
don't look at the case. The cases came down a lot yesterday. They were down to 48,000 cases, only 400 deaths. So it was at 70,000 cases for about a week there. So maybe we're starting to see a trend.
You know, did y'all read I've got a column published at uncoverdc.com, and that was my point. Is that yes, we got more cases, but a case does not necessarily mean that you're sick. A lot of these people that are positive, probably most of them are not sick. They have no symptoms. But it is the cases that's now defining the disease and creating all this fear.
I tell you, Mike, something on the headlines of today's paper that scares me because this is what could happen. Pac-12 players threatened to sit out the 2020 season. Now, all I can see is money, money, money. Is that right?
Well, they want that, and then they want health insurance for life. They want all kinds of stuff. You got a lot of smart kids, a lot of those schools like Cal and Stanford, and they're the ones that are starting all this. And it's got some movement. I don't know if it's just going to be a Pac-12 thing or you'll see this go to the SEC or what. So I don't know. The Big 12 still hasn't even announced what they're going to do yet. It's funny. I always say all the time, though, the Big 12 is actually only 10 conferences. 10 teams.
Yeah.
So the Big 10 is 12 teams. The Big 12 is 10 teams. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
So they're going to run into some scheduling issues, just like Troy is. Nothing out of the Sun Belt as well. So I don't know when we're going to hear about what the Sun Belt's going to do.
No question about it. And, that was something that took place Friday afternoon. And I don't know what the final results are, but right now Troy is beating the bushes trying to find enough teams to play. Now, if they played a Sun Belt Conference schedule, Michael, which I think that's what they're going to do, how many games would that mean?
Only 9, because there's only 10 teams.
Okay, 9, and it seemed like they could pick up at least a couple of 1AA teams or something like that to give them 11. Is that right?
You need to. 1AA, you can play 2, and both of those wins count as towards your bowl.
Well, that's what we're going to do.
Or pick up a UAB or somebody like that, or Southern Miss.
And somebody told me Florida A&M was thinking about putting together a team and be a club team, but they would be on.
No, they're just going to go. They're going to go independent for one season.
All right, independent, which is smart. They're liable to make a little money. You know, there'd be a lot of teams want to play them. You know.
Everybody in the NFL is opting out. You know, they're giving all these players the opportunity to opt out, and not play. And two of the best players, former Alabama great, C.J. Mosley with the Jets. He's making about $85 million a year. He's opting out.
Oh man!
And then Dante Hightower with New England. He's won 3 Super Bowls. He's making about $10-12 million a year. He's opting out.
Do they keep paying? Do they get their money if they don't play?
They only get like about $350,000.
Oh gosh,
right.
Man! At times really getting tough, ladies and gentlemen. When a kid turns down $12 million, all he got to do is put a uniform on.
Well, they're still technically under contract. It's just that the team doesn't have to pay them.
Just a little tiny 350,000 smidgen.
Of course, Auburn and Alabama both have added a few football players this weekend. Auburn got a couple of defensive linemen that look like good players. I like the idea of these coaches looking forward to the future. I watched Troy practice again yesterday, and I'm going to tell you this: I don't think I'll get any negative remarks from the guy on to my far left, but they might have as good a skill players as I think they've ever had. They've got quarterbacks running out their ears, and one of them is the kid from Brantley. Mike, he has gotten bigger, he's gotten stronger, he's very confident, he throws the ball very well. But the problem is, he's very good, but this kid that was the Watson kid, Mike, is a outstanding prospect. He was a quarterback that's been there for 2 years. And then you've got this junior college transfer from Texas, and he looks like a hero. I mean, he is a number 8, and that's 3 right there.
Boy, tough to do.
And then
Parker McNeil,
and then Mike, and this kid stands out to you like you wouldn't believe, and that's the kid I've talked about all this time. You win all those games like he won in high school over in Georgia. And this kid from Georgia, Mike, that just walked on the field, he is as good as all of them. I mean, he can throw a football like you won't believe it. And all right, then there's a kid who's a runner.
Kyle Toole.
Yeah, Kyle. What's his last name?
Toole.
Toole with a T.
Yeah.
Kyle Toole, and ladies and gentlemen, he is another good one. That's 4 quarterbacks that are outstanding. Now, the quarterback coach might be sitting back in his seat watching this show and said, "Oh God, this guy, listen, he don't know the difference in good and pretty." Good. That is pretty good saying.
Well, they throw the ball well when they don't have a defensive lineman coming right at them.
You're right. You're exactly right. They throw when somebody's not coming down their gut.
I could throw it when nobody was coming up my gut.
But let me tell you this.
I mean, don't you think that he wants the best athlete on the field, a guy that can run a little bit too?
Well, see, that's what I was going to tell you. That's where I think they're going to hurt a little bit. They've got one kid who is really an outstanding runner. He's the 5th guy, and right now he's the 5th guy. But right now, and I don't know what's going to happen, but I think, and I've been around long enough to know with these old eyes that they've got 4 real good quarterbacks. And I said that in the spring.
And that's after losing our starting quarterback last year.
That's right, and I told you that this spring. But and then you look at 3 to 4 premium running backs. I mean, I hope this is not a bad word to say. Racehorse legs, good-looking football players. And I told the kid from Texas A&M that transferred in here, has been here a year now. I told him, I said, Strong, I don't know how good you are, but you sure are pretty. And he's about 6'3", Mike, and he weighed about 225 pounds. And then we've got the 2 kids that were so good last year, coming back. And I know we've got
DJ Smith, who's preseason all-conference again. And then you got DK Billingsley, who took his place last year and rushed for 1,000 yards. And then you got the Woods kid out of Gaston City, which is a bit
all
further.
right, and he's a good-looking player. And then the
And then
kid,
you got the freshman running back player of the year out of Georgia.
yeah. And I didn't,
Also.
you know, I hadn't thought about him. I wasn't looking for him, but I'll say this, and I'll say it again. I would say there are 5 premium running backs, and they'll have to redshirt them, and hopefully we can hold on to these guys. And let me just say this, and hopefully we can hold on to these quarterbacks. I watch quarterbacks, and you know they say that he have spin on the ball. That's what he's got to have spin. Can he spin it? Hey, every one of these kids can spin it.
They can throw
and
it.
They're pretty and they're tall.
Do we got some wide receivers to throw it to?
Let me tell you this.
They got every wide receiver back.
All right, that's what we're gonna get to in a minute.
Loaded at receiver.
4 out of 5 of their quarterbacks are 6'4" or better. I mean, they're big, tall kids.
So as far as offense, we're going to be fun to watch.
That's exactly right.
They got every receiver almost back from last year that put up huge numbers. One guy back, Geiger, caught 80 passes.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you another very good running back.
Then you got Randy Todd, the guy that's 6'6", that had great kick returner, and he had a lot of big games last year. And then they got the kid that played quarterback at Tulane that transferred, and big number 6. He's a great player, McLean.
Yeah, no question about it.
They got so many receivers. They got a couple guys that got hurt before the season last year too that were going to probably start.
I tell you who.
The kid out of Georgia that catches all the deep balls, number 13, has been there for years.
I'll tell you another one, Mike, that came on and has played the last couple of years and looked real good is number 83, the kid from Florida, the wide receiver.
Buckholz?
Yeah, what's his name?
Buckholz, I think.
No, not Buckholz. He started several games last year. He's number 83 and was an excellent receiver. And then they got some big, strong tight ends. Offensively, I would say offensively, Troy is as good on paper. I'm saying this a lot now. I haven't thrown in the offensive line yet, but as far as receivers and skilled receivers and running backs, they've got them running out, and quarterbacks, they got them running out of their ears. And then of course, the offensive line is another thing. I don't think they have as much depth on offensive line. I think they can put 5 pretty good ones in there. I've said this many times, Rice, that's the difference in Alabama and Auburn and Troy. Alabama and Auburn, Troy. This is the only difference. Those skilled players, I guarantee, as good as Alabama and Auburn's got anywhere. I really believe that. As good players. But we're getting Alabama and them are getting the 6'6", 6'7", 6'8" guys that weigh 325 down the road, and then Troy is getting the 6'3", 6'4" kids, 6'2", 6'3", 6'4". They're getting that big, fine 6'8", 325, 350 pound lineman. What I'm saying is just a better. They get the premium of the crop, the big, fine tackles. Now you got to be 6'7" to play tackle in the SEC. Did you know that? Have you noticed that? Mm-hmm. Because you got to reach. You got to reach.
Trey Eford's been there for years. Has been a great player.
Oh yeah, no question. And a lot of it now, ladies and gentlemen, another thing they test is this right here. What am I showing, Mike? Wingspan. Wingspan, because he blocks like this, and of course he's got one hand on the jersey in most cases. Mm-hmm. But that wingspan is now one of the most important things in an offensive lineman.
Yeah, and the kid's name's Luke Whittemore.
Yeah, Whittemore. Yeah, and he looks good. And I tell you what, I saw a little freshman, and I watched him, and gosh, he had good, quick feet, and he had good hands. And guess where he's from?
Where?
Pike Road.
Oh.
I said, Pike Road. He said, yeah, Pike Road High School. Pike Road High School. He's a walk-on. And I was very impressed with that young man. He had one thing, great speed, but quickness, and could catch the football. You can be as pretty as you can be, and there's a lot of pretty ones out there, but catch the football. And most of the cases, hey, if they miss a ball they should have caught, make them do at least 5 push-ups. There's a lot of guys doing push-ups.
Troy's all about defense. I mean, last year you score in the 40s, get beat by Southern Miss. You score in the 40s, you get beat by Arkansas State.
Yeah.
I mean, Troy's offense wasn't the problem last year. It's defense.
You're going to have to score in the 40s to beat Troy this year. You're going to have to score in the 40s to beat each other. That's saying a lot.
Yeah.
Because Troy's going to score a bunch of points. And I watched this.
I don't know, man. New quarterback never played in Division One. I think there's going to be some growing pains.
But I tell you what, Mike, I'm going to tell you. I'll tell you what. I said this, and people will say, "You're crazy. You're crazy. You're crazy." I'll take Troy's 4 quarterbacks over Alabama's 4 quarterbacks right now.
Oh, you can't.
Right
say
now.
that.
Right now. I'm talking about 4.
That.
I'm talking about 4, Mike.
Alabama
4.
No.
I'm talking about 4 quarterbacks.
You're talking about Mac Jones, who's a 4-star. Bryce Young's a 5-star.
And tell me who
Tyson
else.
Jr.'s a 4-star.
Well, these guys are better than Bryant Jr. in a second. I'm talking about 4. I'll take Troy's 4 over Alabama's 4. All right, let's go to Auburn. Do the same thing. I'll take Troy's 4 over Auburn's 4 right now.
You're talking about 4 guys you've never even seen play college ball.
I don't care. I don't care.
Sense making a statement like this.
Well, he's seen them play.
They played. I've seen them out there, and I've watched them.
Not in competition.
Well, what has Paul Bryant Jr. done? I mean, Paul Bryant done in competition.
He played at one of the biggest schools in the state of Alabama and threw for 4,500 yards. You would trust me?
All right, well, let me ask this, Mike. Let me ask you point blank. Do you think he's better than...
I'm just saying, you got to realize, these guys, the only kid that even had a scholarship to the SEC was free, and that was to Vanderbilt.
How about Toole? Do you think the Bryant kid is better than Toole right now? Do you think he's better than that young man?
I mean, you would think he is.
How about the number?
He played in school and put up huge numbers.
How about the number 1 quarterback in the junior colleges that's at Troy now? Do you think he's better than that?
If he was the number 1 quarterback and he played the story is he played for a Neil Brown disciple, a guy that coached under Neil Brown.
Oh yeah.
If he was as great as they said he was, he would have gone to West Virginia.
Well, let me just say this: he was the number 1 rated junior college player in the nation.
I mean, all those are true statements, but I'm just saying if he would have been as big as he would have said he was, he would have gone
I'll still stand by it. I'll take Troy's best 4 against as far as depth and all that. I didn't say they were better than the first string quarterback at Alabama and Auburn, but I'm talking about I'll take their 4 over. If I got 4, I'd take them over Alabama and Auburn's 4.
Yeah, I mean,
all right, now this is going to hurt your feelings. So
okay.
Troy played Arkansas State last year, and they got beat by a guy named Lane. I can't remember his last name. So he was a freshman transfer from the University of Alabama, Lane Hatcher.
Hatcher, yeah.
This tells you what kind of talent Alabama has.
Well, he was a 5-star.
He was the 5th string quarterback at Alabama. 5th string quarterback.
But he was a 5-star.
Arkansas State, and he becomes the Sun Belt Player of the Year.
He was a 5-star. You're right. He was good. He was a 5-star.
No, he was a 3-star. He was a 3-star.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Alabama gave him a scholarship late in the process.
I'd like to check on that. I thought it was a 5-star.
No, he was 3.
But well, let me tell you this. He had a good day against Troy, but everybody did. You know, Troy couldn't stop anybody. You know.
I mean, I'm just saying, there's a lot of talent on that roster that you never even see hit the field at Alabama. You'll probably never see the Titans.
Okay. Well, let me just say this. Let me say this right here. I'd take Troy's 4 right now over year 1. I'd take him over Jones right now. Now.
If you had
the guy that starts at Troy will be better than Jones, I guarantee you.
Jones.
Yeah, but Jones at Alabama, you're sure right.
How Jones stood in there against Auburn in that pass rush last year?
Again, he had the SEC line in front of him. You're right. He ought to have been able to.
Man, I don't know. Now you're talking about a bunch of guys that have never even played Division I.
Well, let me ask this. I can't believe I'm arguing like this because he ought to know.
Well, I can't believe you're making a statement about guys who've never even seen the field.
All right. Well, let me just ask you this. Don't you know I know what one looks like? Do you think I know what a big time quarterback looks like?
It would have been different if you were saying this with Barker, who was a proven starter. And none of these guys have started a game in college.
And another thing, Barker doesn't get near the credit. He threw for 3,500 yards, Mike. Mm-hmm. Barker's one of the leading quarterbacks in Troy history.
Yeah, he was something. He was really good.
And if he hadn't got hurt, no telling how good he would have been because he could fly.
Rice, what's your opinion on this? you know football. Your dad played at Alabama, and you've seen Troy.
I'm not saying Troy's people can compare completely with Alabama's, but I'm saying I'll take 4.
See it on the field first?
I would say that you can watch a lot of people that can spin the ball in passing drills, but it's different when they're in game situations. So I'll refrain. I agree with both of y'all. Mike knows what a good quarterback looks like. You make a good point that you got to see him with a defensive line and defensive end coming down at him. Yeah. You'll be able to know more when they have their first scrimmage and see how they hold up.
And I reflect on this a lot clearer. I'm talking about drop back quarterbacks, not a dual threat quarterback, but drop back quarterbacks. What I would say.
I'll tell you a story that kind of relates to this. A newcomer that comes in, never played. Kelvin Simmons came in from junior college, and I was a reporter. I can't remember what paper, and went over and watched the scrimmage. He was the guy out there with the first team. I hadn't been paying attention, and I heard a little bit about him in high school. And after about 2 series, I was dumbfounded. I said, that guy is so good. And what made me think that was that he stood in there with that pass rush. It was like it didn't faze him. He didn't even know it was there.
And I'm not saying...
then, that's all it took me to say, that guy has it.
I'm not saying that Jones wouldn't start over all those others, but I'm talking about 4 quarterbacks. You give me 4 good quarterbacks, and I'd take Troy's 4 over Alabama's. Auburn the same way, Mike. Tell me about Auburn's 4. Tell me about their 4.
Well, you got, the
Nix.
They got Nix, who's great.
You got the freshman All-American Nix, and then you got Cord Sandberg.
Yeah, and he's just a young guy that plays
minor league baseball.
You got Cam Newton's brother, who's transferred in from Howard.
Yeah.
Who put up all kinds of huge numbers. He's part of the biggest upset in college football history when Howard went to UNLV as a 45-point underdog, and he beat UNLV.
Wow.
Howard? Who did he play for? Howard University?
Howard, yeah.
Okay.
And then they've got another freshman. I can't think of his name, but
no question about it. I'll take Troy's 4. I'll take Troy's 4 over Auburn's 4. I'm talking about total.
I have an easier time doing Auburn over than Troy than Alabama.
Yeah. But I'm hurt. I don't know. Hopefully we can hold on to these guys. But and I'm talking about 4.
I mean, but you got to say this. Though last year, I mean, Chip Lindsey had absolutely no confidence in his backup quarterbacks. Free never even played in a game. And then Gunnar Watson, we said it the whole time, if you're going to run your offense, play your backup quarterback, won't you let him throw the ball? He handed it off every time he was in there. He played mop-up duty last year, but he never let him throw the ball.
Now, he's been he's a 6-year guy, isn't
he? Who?
Watson. Didn't he sit out 2 years?
He's a redshirt sophomore.
Okay, so he was redshirted last year, so he's still got 3 more years.
He played the last 2 years, but I'm just saying he was redshirted initially.
Okay, all right. How many more years does it have? 3 more years or 2?
He's got 3.
Yeah.
Free out of Brantley's got 2. McNeil, the junior college guy's got 2, and then you got the freshman that's got 4.
I tell you what, they really look good. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't mean to be arguing, but it just makes good sense if you went out there and Troy's 4 quarterbacks are really, really good.
Well, they're going to have to narrow it down, Mike, because to get good, you got to get some reps, and sometimes that can be a trouble if you got 3 or 4 and there's really no difference in them.
And let me tell you, I love this kid Jones, but the kid from California will move ahead of him almost instantly. This guy is a good. I mean, is a middle class quarterback. Jones is.
My opinion on this is, and we mentioned this last week, Bill. You weren't on the show, but what would you do as a coaching staff now? So the SEC, Pac-12, I think Big Ten are all playing on the 26th. The Sun Belt's a non-Power 5 league. Conference USA the same. The MAC. Then you got the Mountain West. Wouldn't you take advantage of this situation television-wise and start your season on the 29th or the 5th for sure? At least have 3 weeks.
Yeah, great point.
Play games in front of all these people that are dying to watch college football.
Get your team out there.
I wouldn't delay.
Yeah, I would play 12 games and I would get them on early. and you're going to have a stage like you've never had before. Yeah, that's a good point. I
Hey,
agree.
but you look at it.
The sports books in Mississippi, if Southern Miss was playing Troy, or Troy was playing UAB out in Vegas, anywhere for college football, those would be the most exposure you could ever get.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you this: the 27th of September is a long ways to wait for college football. You think about it. Today
if I was Troy, I'd start playing on the 5th.
Today is the third day of August, and ladies and gentlemen, right now the SEC does not plan to start until September the 27th.
Yeah.
Won't you just stay home and take a month vacation?
Yeah.
You're talking about being sick of football. Don't you know these players are going to be sick of football? I mean, a lot of them have already started practicing.
I also think that Mike picked up on something that is opting out in the pros. It's going to happen in the college with a good player.
Oh, yeah.
And so, Alabama's got about 10 potential first-round picks playing this year. Will all 10 of those actually play, or will 5 of them opt out of the season?
If Alabama, say they pick up Florida, and then they lose, which is unheard of, lose a couple games early, which I don't think will happen, but I think they might lose just one early.
Yeah, it could happen, yeah.
Say then, can these players opt out in the middle of the season?
Yeah.
You would really see that happening.
Yeah.
If they don't have anything to play for?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Now let me tell you this. I'd almost go this far. Now, of course, Alabama's got a bevy of running backs. I tell you what, I'd almost take Troy's 4 running backs over both of them. Troy's got 4 premium running backs.
Come on, Najee Harris.
Not good, but premium.
Najee Harris, a first-round pick. Trey Sanders, who blows out his knee last year, a 5-star.
If you listen right, I've told him, I said that might not be the case at Alabama, but I think it would be at Auburn. No question about it. I'd take Troy's 4 running backs over the 4 running backs at Auburn right now.
Well, Auburn's got some good running backs too.
Well, I tell you what, Troy's got 4 premium running backs.
Well, I'm fired up after hearing your report about how good the offense and
I tell you what, man, you can talk all about this offense all you want. Tell me who's going to tackle anything.
I agree, and who's going to block them? I worry about that. But
they got 3 stars back on the offensive line. They got Stenham, and they got the Bradshaw kid, and they got the guard back. They got 3 starters on the offensive line.
You're right.
And I'm not saying Troy's better than Alabama and Auburn. I'm just saying I'll take those 4 depth guys right there. Those 4, I'll take them, especially over Auburn's.
You look talking about defense. You got a great offense, but there's so much pressure. If you got a bad defense, you've got to score every time. It's like holding your serve in tennis.
Exactly right.
Alabama, their defense was suspect in several games. I'm thinking about LSU. Heck, I think Alabama did score every time they had the ball against LSU in the second half, but they had a couple blunders in the first half, and that was it. That's all.
And the key to LSU.
The play of the game against LSU was that interception right before the half.
I will tell you this.
That interception before the half, they scored that late touchdown with a few seconds left. That's what killed Alabama in that game.
Let me tell you this.
Troy could score on anybody last year in most games, but they couldn't.
Yeah, but they played an SEC team like Missouri, and Missouri just shut Troy down. They scored 7 points, and Troy scored on the first series. They had the game. Looked like, oh, wow, Troy's going to play them tough.
I don't know
Missouri just toyed with Troy. Missouri wasn't even good last year.
Yeah, they were good when they played Troy, I'll tell you that. I was at the game.
Well, they lost their All-American linebacker against Troy. That hurt them.
And he scored 2 times before the game started, pretty much.
Yeah,
hey, do you know who's won more big games than any team in college football the last 15 games? Who had been?
I'd say Boise State's won a lot of big ones.
No, I'm talking about LSU had won more big games than any of them.
Yeah,
the coach at LSU had won more big games in the last 15 than any guy.
He won 15
and the guy from BYU was second. But we're talking about against big time opponents. The coach at LSU has won more. But LSU, the key has been over the years, they didn't ever have a quarterback. Well, the last 2 years they've had a quarterback, and look how good they are now. But who's going to play quarterback now for LSU? They won't have a guy as good as they've had. And now
the guy's season last year was historic. I mean, one of the best ever of any quarterback.
And
Burrow, I mean, he got in the right system with Joe Brady, offense coordinator. Of course, Brady now is at the Carolina Panthers, and Dave Aranda, a great defense coordinator, is at Baylor as a head coach, and then the guy that played at Troy and he coached about 30 places. Tommy Robinson's now at Texas A&M. They lost so many coaches off that staff last year too.
And a lot of players. Boy, if they come back and have a good year this year, that'll be impressive.
Again,
15 players got drafted. And Orgeron is divorced, and you know he's got to be running.
Wait a minute. No, why did he get a divorce? She was a pretty thing. She was a pretty thing.
He wanted to live up being the national champion, man.
You mean Orgeron is divorcing that beautiful lady?
Yeah, she was pretty.
Hey, let me tell you something. Oh gosh, man, I don't know who's the luckiest, he or her. Oh man, that hits me hard, Mike.
We talked about that a while back. They got divorced.
I said, how many times when you saw him on TV, said, "Gosh, why in the world did that girl marry him?"
Well, they probably should have waited a year to get divorced, and she would have got more alimony when he got that big contract he probably got.
Exactly.
You know, Orgeron played at LSU originally. I was reading more about him the other day. He played, and then he transferred to Northwestern State.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So he actually played initially at LSU.
I tell you what, he's a heck of a coach.
You know who comes out the winner and all that stuff? I told Dad, Rice, is Max Howell. He nailed this. Max Howell came on our show 2 weeks ago and said SEC's going to play 10 games. Alabama's going to play Florida and Vanderbilt. And he was exactly right. We had this on the show 2 weeks ago before any of this ever came out.
Something else, let me tell you, will really affect Troy's schedule is that they have to play Louisiana. You know, Louisiana Lafayette, Louisiana. They go by Louisiana now. They're, to me, right up there with Appalachian State on having the best two programs in the. Of course, you've got to look at Arkansas State too, but wouldn't you say the best two programs right now are Appalachian State and Louisiana Lafayette?
Mm-hmm. Yep, right now.
Yeah, our thoughts and prayers go out to Lafayette. Actually, their coach, their offensive line coach, was coaching on the field. He's a 31-year-old guy. I can't remember. I think his last name was Looney. And he was from Oak Mountain Hospital in Birmingham, and he was out there coaching them and died of a heart attack on the field.
When was that?
That was a couple days ago.
No. And he coaches where now?
He was the offensive line coach, Louisiana Lafayette.
Oh, man, I hate that. Gosh.
Yeah, he was from Birmingham. He was 31. He was a great player at Mississippi State. But I read that this weekend. So
that was sad. That's sad. Now, the reason I said that, Troy's got to play Louisiana now. Their regular schedule before all this happened was they had to play everybody but Louisiana.
Now they can play.
That makes their schedule awfully tough, don't you think, Mike?
Well, I mean, playing everybody in the Sun Belt is definitely going to be tough. I mean, you got to play Lafayette. Of course, Appalachian State, Georgia Southern's always good. Georgia State's got a lot better. Arkansas State always gives Troy trouble. I mean, La Monroe gives Troy trouble. I mean, it's a tough schedule.
Yeah, and people say they look at La Monroe and they say, "Oh, we got La Monroe, they're not very good." But let me tell you this: they're good when they play Troy. I'll tell you that. They got that Duck Dynasty money. Yeah, that Duck Dynasty money. Yeah, that's right. He played quarterback there, didn't he?
No, he played a lot of Tech, but they're based out of Monroe.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, to me, all those Louisiana schools are going to be good, and of course the Georgia schools and Georgia State. Guy told me the other day, watch them because they've got all these great facilities now. Wouldn't that be impressive for you to play in that old baseball field there in Atlanta?
Yeah, Turner Field.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Very impressive.
And they've got coaching now. And
eventually we're going to see South Alabama be good again. I don't know if it's going to be under Campbell, but you got a brand new football stadium, and you would think that eventually he's going to win more than 3 games.
I tell you what.
UAB's got a new stadium. When's their stadium going to be finished? Next year?
Next year it'll be 55,000 seat stadium.
One day.
Bad timing for them spending all that money though on the football stadium.
Rice, one day before long, and you can go with me. I'm gonna ride down there and look at that stadium. You know, that's going to really make South Alabama a big-time school. Right now, they probably have between 18 and 20,000 students, and it's a beautiful campus, and they got a great arena for basketball. They've got a beautiful baseball facility. Now but the problem is they've been having to play their games at across town at what's the name of that? Ladd People's Stadium, and it's in one of the worst parts of town. Now they've got their stadium on campus, and it's going to enhance more campus environment. You watch, that's going to be a heck of a program for us over with. And UAB, I think, is going to be a lot better because they've got a big-time stadium going up, too.
All right, y'all want to take the first break of the day?
Yeah, you're right. Let's have another cup of coffee. Let's have a cup of Hill and Brooks. We'll be back.
We off?
No,
Yeah.
No, we're still on.
You stop yelling at your daddy over there.
Are we off?
I hope so.
No, we're still on.
We're having fun, I tell you what, but we'll be right back.
Anybody in the back today?
I'm afraid all of that was on the air. We'll be back in just a moment, I think, but right now we're going to stay with you. Of course, our good friends at Troy Health and Rehab on the bypass, on the Alabama Enterprise Highway in Troy for long-term health care, short-term rehab, ladies and gentlemen. Troy Health and Rehab right here in Troy, and of course Trojan Auto Parts, my good friends there, and Max Federal Credit Union, ladies and gentlemen, a great financial institution, and we'll be right back with more of Today in L.A. Evidently, somebody
take us commercial.
Well, we're gonna have to hire somebody else. There we go.
Look
right
at you
there.
got that orange juice, OJ.
All right, I gotta run.
Well, and I'll tell you this: First Citizens Bank of Luverne has been a long-term sponsor, and they one of the outstanding local banks in Alabama. First Citizens Bank of Luverne, and we appreciate them. And also, no better place for breakfast this morning than Bird's Drugs, right here on the square in downtown Troy. And of course, I'm just going to say this, and I've just started to realize it more and more. That's the best biscuit in town. Hardee's, you cannot beat Bird's biscuit. Try it, ladies and gentlemen, and call back and tell me if I'm not right or not. What do you think?
Yeah, you and I go all the time, and it's fantastic.
Yeah. Of course, we want to mention this weekend, a lot of folks took the kids out to the Pike County Lake. This is one of the easiest ways to go fishing in this world. All you got to have is a cane pole or a brim buster, whatever. Put your cork and a lead on it and a hook, and go inside of the shop there and get you some crickets. Now, some kids can bait a cricket, some people can't, but get you some crickets and go to their pier there, their dock there, and sit there and catch brim as long as you stand there. And I don't care for that little kid, whether it's 2 inches long or it's 10 or 12 or 15 inches long. That's a fish is a fish to a little kid.
That's a thrill.
And he will always, or she will always, remember the day old daddy took me out to the Pike County Lake and went fishing.
Mm-hmm.
My daddy used to do that with me.
My daddy did too. My granddaddy, Hickey Chapman, he
loved it, didn't he?
He loved to fish.
Did he? What did he fished up at Colley's Pond?
Yeah, they had a trailer at Colley's Pond.
Oh gosh, and I say this all the time, but zip. Good bass, good brim fishermen know exactly what I'm saying. Zip. That's when those big bull brims hit that thing, and they say zip. You ever heard that noise? Zip. That line will
they
just
would catch
tighten
so
up
many
that quick.
brim, and they're big size brim. I mean, just you name 30, 40, 50 brim in the afternoon fishing.
I was over at Eufaula last week with a friend of mine. I went out on his dock. He had a long dock, and had a beautiful setup out there with two boats and so forth. And over here, he had a bunch of brim busters, just like you'd have a bunch of bats in a dugout or whatever. And then all he had to do was if he'd have some wigglers out there, and he'd have them where nothing could get to him, and he just reached in there and got him a big old wiggler and threw it out there. And in a minute, the biggest what I call white perch, they call them crappies, now, but came up in what we call a slab about like that. And all he had to do with his electric knife is just zip, flip it over, zip, put it over here, and in about 10 minutes, he had a slab of perch ready to put in the frying pan.
And he cleaned it right when he
Oh,
caught
yeah,
it.
and he didn't care about anything but the slab part, or the fillet part. He started from the tail and said, zip, put it over here, zip.
Yeah, that's
Hey, and it was the easiest fishing I've ever seen.
That's the way when we used to eat fish all the time. I like my bass fillet. That's what I want.
Exactly right. Of course, everybody loves catfish, and right now at Crow's Chicken, you can get fried catfish pretty much anytime you want it. And I told him.
What, this guy needs to be one of our sponsors. You're talking about Crow's a lot.
You don't know who's my sponsor, son. I might have a deal.
No,
I might have a deal where I get all the Crow's chicken I can eat for nothing. How about that?
Well, if that's the case, I need to go to Troy and get Crow's chicken one day.
Well, let me tell you this. They moved to a new location on South 39th Street, and right there at the corner of the intersections of Highway
right across the
29 and 231. That's right, 231. And right there at Shorty Renfro's, right across from Shorty Renfro's Gulf Station. And let me tell you this, you can't hide good food. Let me tell you this, and buddy, let me tell you this, the chicken at Crow's is about as good as you're gonna get. I've seen a lot of people.
I was a crow growing up in high school. I was notorious for being Barry Crow, and I would go in there a lot when certain young people would be working at Crow's, and I'd say, "I'm Barry, I'm the brother." And I guess I probably got at least 10 different Crow's meals.
Well, you ought to be ashamed of you, and I want you to write him a check.
Even though my best friend was Blake Crow.
I want you to write Blake Crow a check today.
Shell Crow and Blake Crow, I got at least 10 free meals as Barry.
Well, let me tell you this.
I was that mystery crow brother that would come in there late at night.
Well, let me tell you this. If
they would just hand it over to me.
You write that check out to Cheryl Crow right now and say, I apologize for doing that to your chicken.
Well, his son has been to my beach house probably about 50 times, 100 times in his life, and he's invited me to Lake Martin 0 times. So, I mean, he went to my beach house so many times.
Hey, well, don't be talking about that. That's nobody's business. No,
I know, but I'm talking about what kind of guy I am compared to him.
Hey, y'all best friends, that's one thing. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, they're really back into business, and
that good nuggets back in the day.
Those nuggets are just outstanding.
Was Double Delight. Had some real good.
Yeah.
And my friend Scott Rainey worked there at night in high school. Now I would go see Scott and get some nuggets, or they also had steak fingers that were really good, or a homemade milkshake, but I would pay for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, you want some of the best chicken fingers you can ever eat? Sisters has great chicken fingers.
Yeah.
Oh, they do.
It's against the law to have all you can eat chicken fingers like Sisters on their buffet back in the day.
You're right, no question. But now they're live and well, and they've got a meat and 3 to choose from, and their food is as good as ever at Sisters.
I mean, don't you think buffets are over forever?
I hope not. If they are, I want to move to Russia or somewhere where they're not.
And a lot of things have been hit. I'm a Rotarian, and gosh, we haven't met as a group in 6 months. And that was a great club, a great organization for local that supported most anything local.
They call it the new normal, and if that's the new normal where the all-you-can-eat buffet no longer exists.
I tell you something else that's a great place is Piggly Wiggly, and I buy a lot of my meats and vegetables at Piggly Wiggly. And let me tell you, I love the way they cut their cantaloupe. They got a big, and it's very reasonable, and their cantaloupe is sweet, and I put pepper on it.
Yeah.
Oh boy, it's really good. I love cantaloupe, and I love good sweet watermelon. And they have slices. You can buy watermelon by slice.
Mm-hmm.
If you get there at the right time, you can get just wonderful sweet watermelon from Piggly Wiggly. And of course, their steaks and their
they make homemade chicken salad and pimento cheese and hot. There's always some stuff you can get that's already been ready made.
Yeah. Oh man, they really do. And their casseroles are outstanding. They had a couple of them this weekend. I want to mention too, though, their peas. Their freshly shelled peas are the best in town, and you won't find it.
Oh, they're great.
And of course, you can't beat.
I remember memories. We talk a lot about childhood memories. One of my childhood memories is my grandmother sitting on her porch shelling peas, and she would do it all afternoon.
And she lived in Hillcrest.
Well, she lived on Murphy Street, right next door to Hank. That's where Joel.
Oh, that was your daddy's side. I'm sorry, that was your dad. I was thinking about.
Murphy Street. I don't think this is considered Hillcrest, but she lived on Murphy Street, across from Chan Gailey's house, and right next door to Hank, where Joel, that watches our show every morning, lives now and has fixed it up. But she sat in that porch, which was a screen porch, and she finally glassed it in, shelling those peas, and we would have them for Sunday
I was
dinner.
thinking of those old Hickey Chapman. He probably liked good fresh peas and corn. And of course,
my KK was like Brother Chapman. She never fixed a meal in her life.
Oh, really? Had somebody could really? All right, now.
She had help that made her.
All right, you had Hickey.
We had Major League Baseball over the weekend, and a lot of teams are red hot. Your Yankees have only lost one game down there playing really well.
I know it.
The Reds won 4-3 yesterday. Orioles won 5-1 over the Rays. Braves have won 5 in a row. They're red hot in Atlanta.
In fact, I've got
that match 4-0 yesterday. White Sox beat the Royals 9-2. Twins beat the Indians 3-1. Cubs beat the Pirates 2-1. Rockies won 9-6 over the Padres. Rangers won 9-5 over the Giants. Dodgers won 3-0 over the Diamondbacks. Astros won 6-5 over the Angels. Athletics won 3-2 over the Mariners. Reds won 4-0 over the Tigers. They played a doubleheader. Then the Yankees came back and beat the Red Sox last night 9-7.
The big boy got all of one, Mike. I said
Judge is tearing it up for the Yankees.
Judge hit about a 500-foot home run yesterday. Let me tell you.
Games postponed for the virus. The Marlins and the Nationals were postponed for the virus. Cardinals and Brewers were postponed because of the virus. Phillies and Blue Jays were postponed because of the virus. And the Cardinals and the Brewers were postponed because of the virus. There's an outside chance the Major League Baseball will shut down and not even make it through the season the way it's going.
Well, Mike, I know you, as growing up, your daddy took you to some places and to watch a ball game that will leave memories in your mind for a long time. Today, Monday, August the 3rd, you guys, if you don't have anything scheduled to do,
you can't go to games.
Hey, you can't go see the Braves play. Is that right?
Yeah, nobody can go.
But what I'm saying is that they play at home against the Mets without fans again. Is that right?
Yeah, you can go to a sports bar in Atlanta with your son today and watch it.
Yeah, okay. All right, on Tuesday, August the 4th, they play the Blue Jays. They've got a 3-game series against the Blue Jays. When I thought they would land a certain percentage coming to the games. When did that start?
They're talking about no fans all season is what I'm hearing.
But Blue Jays through August the 6th at home. Then they got 4 games with the Phillies at home. And then 2 games with the Yankees. Don't you know that one would be one that a lot of people like to see?
Crowds, yeah.
And that's on August 11th and 12th. But
you probably would possibly see fans for the postseason, maybe if teams make it to the playoffs. I would hope.
Of course, the Phillies are at Philadelphia, and of course, then the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. But right now, we're looking at a 4-game schedule at home. But like you said, it doesn't make a difference. But at one time, it would have been a perfect time to take your kid to Atlanta to see a baseball game.
Yeah, I had some great memories going to Turner Field and Fulton County Stadium. I still Have you yet to go to the new stadium over there?
I have too. I haven't gone either.
Think about all the people that work as ushers and concession stand people and parkers, and there's got to be just hundreds or thousands of people that work at a stadium. And, they don't have the job either.
It is 8 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? Yes, I do. Yes, Rice does. They're still at home in bed asleep. Is that right?
I hope so.
We'll be back to more of Today in L.A. right after this.
Have you seen an increase in your insurance premiums or significant change in your insurance coverage? Let Sandbeck Insurance offer you a better plan to suit your business or personal needs. Sandbeck Insurance offers many lines of insurance, whether it's home, farm, or auto insurance, work comp, business, or health and life policies. Sandbeck is here for you. Call or visit our Troy, Enterprise, or Andalusia office today. Sandbeck Insurance, where we take pride in taking care of your insurance needs.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Trojan Auto Parts of Troy, home of Napa Know-How. Stop by and see owners Mike and Melissa Kilcrease and their Napa Know-How team with over 100 years of combined experience. We're the only locally owned parts store in Pike County, and we're fully stocked and ready to serve you. We pride ourselves on being your go-to parts store, not only for the simple items, but we specialize in those hard-to-find items as well. Trojan Auto Parts, the right part at the right price at the right time. Napa, a name you've trusted here in Troy since 1945.
Here at Bill Jackson Chevrolet in Troy, we've been doing business the right way for 31 years. But don't take our word for it. We feel our customers express it the best.
Been honest in everything we've discussed with them.
When they said Jackson Satisfaction, they really mean it.
The Jackson Satisfaction.
They see them all over the place.
Well, not white sharks, though, do they?
Not great whites, but they have the great whites in the Gulf. They got those trackers on them.
I watched them. Let's talk about that a little bit.
The problem with the Gulf of Mexico is the bull sharks. They're like baby great whites, super aggressive.
We're not. This is not good for the tourist industry in Florida right now.
Hey, trust me, the tourist industry ain't hurting a bit. I've already seen about 500 people pass my house this morning.
As you can see, Mike is coming to you from Drayton Beach, Florida. Of course, Bill Rice is sitting right next to me, and of course, good to have Bill Rice back after.
Let me tell everybody what I did is
weeks
my wife had to go take care of her mother-in-law in Montgomery who had an operation, and so she stayed with her mother for 4 or 5 nights, and that left me with a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old that I had to keep.
I know you did a good job, though. I know that.
I don't know how mamas do it.
When does school start in Troy?
Carrie is supposed to go back as a teacher August 7th. I don't know why, because students don't start, I don't think, until August 20th.
Let me tell you.
It's fluid. We don't really know 100%, I don't think.
All right, Mike, let me tell you this. This is
our girls start preschool not today, but next Monday. So we're actually back in school on the 10th, and we're jumping up and down, high-fiving each other.
I'm thinking Troy University is taking a lead here. Rush actually starts today at Troy, where all the sororities have Rush. Right now, I've heard that they have record numbers going out for Rush here at Troy, and of course that's girl sororities. And then listen to this: Saturday is move-in day at Troy, or Sunday's move. Saturday and Sunday this weekend is move-in. The dorms at Troy.
That's a big deal, right?
And I would think they would start to school maybe at the middle of that week after that.
That's big for our local economy.
Exactly right. Move-in day, and of course that's where you're asked if you'd like to help college students move in the dorm. A lot of people do that. That's a big time, and all these folks, kids start moving in, and then Sunday Sunday they'll have their big welcome of the freshmen with the band and all that, I would think.
Well, they're coming back to a beautiful campus. I'll tell you one thing.
I would think most all of this, though, will be outside. They'll probably do most of this outside. Wouldn't you think?
And it's hot as it's ever been, too. Golly.
Yeah, well, I say that, but that's with freshmen. That's part of school starting. And then I would say that school itself started probably by the midweek or to Thursday or Friday of next week is when school will probably start, around the 12th.
Well, you know, everybody in Alabama has been following the mask mandate, don't you think? I mean, everywhere I go, I see people wearing masks, and that's gone on for 18 days. So shouldn't that pretty much eliminate the new cases if you've had 18 days where not only you're wearing the mask, but the person you're talking to is wearing the mask? That should nip it in the bud. If it doesn't, we've been sold a bill of goods.
Exactly right. Of course, Mike Amos.
I'll tell you what, I've been battling a severe head cold for about a week, and I knew exactly what I had. I knew I had a head cold because, I mean, it was all the symptoms. And, you know, I'm sure people, you know, that get sick from just various things. You know, I have two little kids, and my wife got it first, and then I got it, and you think you got all kinds of other things, you know, because of COVID, you're worried. Mm-hmm. But, you know, when it's all said and done, it's just a head cold. Yeah, right. But you probably got so many people out there in this country that have colds right now and go get tested, and then, you know, don't come back negative, but, you know, you just worry about every little thing now.
You know, I asked somebody the other day when I could I go get tested, and said you would have to get an appointment. Now, you know, it's a lot of things about the test that you need to know, and some of it's pleasant and some of it's not so pleasant, but then, though, to have to get a doctor's permission to get a test.
I thought they was making it easier in that.
Yeah, that's not the case in Birmingham and bigger markets. You can just drive up and get tested.
But that's what I was told, that you had to have an appointment to get tested.
You know what's going to be interesting is the college program, especially the Alabamas and Auburns, they're going to test their athletes once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week. But the high schools aren't going to be able to do that. So you're not going to have any test results from high school football players for the simple reason that nobody's paying for that test. So, you know, I'm going to watch the results at the college level compared to the high school level. One testing all the time and the other testing not at all.
Exactly right. Coach,
apparently, I read every student starting Troy University is going to be tested before they're allowed on campus.
Yeah,
that's what I read.
And I saw this past week. It looks like a gun, and what it does, it takes your temperature. Have you seen one? Mm-hmm. And that's neat to have that. And I would think that every person that goes to a college football game that walks through the gates should have their temperature checked. And if it's more than 102, I don't think they should be allowed to go in the stadium. What do you think?
They might do that, but it's 100.2, or it might even be
100. 100.2, yeah, whatever.
Normal is what, 98.6?
Yeah, that's right.
How in the world are you going to keep these college kids in a bubble? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm going to want to go see my girlfriend. I'm going to want to go see my buddy at the fraternity house. I'm going to want to go out to the bars. I'm going to want to go to the restaurants. I mean,
can't do it.
I mean, there's just no way that this is even possible in college.
No. That's going to be a ton of positive cases. You know, and the point I keep making is just because it's a positive case does not mean that these people are sick. I mean, most of them are going to be asymptomatic.
Well,
you better have two quarterbacks ready to go. You need to have as much depth on all positions than you've ever had. Because you're going to have games where, you know, you're playing and 2 guys are going to be out 2 weeks.
Sorry about it, Coach. Sorry about it, Coach Saban. Your 2 of your quarterbacks can't play today. They're running fevers.
And doesn't it make sense that if one quarterback has it, probably all the quarterbacks are going to have it, because aren't they in the meeting rooms together and they're practicing side by side?
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy to see what happens.
No question about it.
I mean, you can only hope almost, you know, we're almost looking at 2 months now, though.
Yeah.
So hopefully by then the case will be back down to 15,000 a day.
We've got 5 minutes. We've got coming up, ladies and gentlemen, in the next 5 to 10 minutes is the Wiley Sanders Truck Line Show, brought to you by our good friend Jeffrey Bennett, and he'll be coming on our show in just a few minutes. And of course, looking for a great career, you won't find any better career, ladies and gentlemen, than working for Sanders Truck Lines right here in Troy. They have all the amenities and a great opportunity for a career driving for Sanders Trucking Company. I want to mention a lot of things going on, and of course we're talking about rush starting. That means things starting to happen at the university. More students are moving in, checking in their rooms. Somebody told me that, this is something that I've always enjoyed. People just think I'm a football fan, but Mike, I'm a pretty big fan of the Sound of the South. Wouldn't you think? And,
yeah, I read an article the other day. Some conferences not allowing bands, so I've got to find out, what the SEC is going to do in some of these other conferences. But there's not going to be any bands in the stadium.
Well, I can see Troy University Sound of the South band separating 6 feet apart all the way across the south end zone and just covering that up, and I think it would be very impressive. But I've heard this, that the band camp, which normally lasts a week, is just going to be for 3 days, band camp at Troy, and they'll be ready to go. And you'll probably be able to see the Sound of the South in person on Sunday of this week when the freshmen start coming and reporting. In fact, the end of this week, ladies and gentlemen, is what they call not orientation, but it's time. No, it's time to get in the dorms.
Move-in day.
Yeah, move-in day. And if you'd like to help with move-in day, I guarantee you they'd love to have people help bringing in their suitcases.
I'll say
and
this:
so
they're
forth.
Coming back to a beautiful campus. They've used this time to.
You're right. You're exactly
to
right.
beautify it, and that's commendable.
Yeah.
I mean, what else could you do with no students there? Well, just make sure the campus is as pretty as ever. The pool's done by the rec center. My kids and I went and checked that out.
That is nice.
I wonder if they're going to open that up, though, and let everybody go swimming.
Exactly right. Ladies and gentlemen, of course,
wherever you go. South Marching Band, they could just have their drum line and their majorettes and their, baton twirlers, and then they could all be wearing masks. And then the rest of the band would just have to shut it down for the season.
I tell you what, it's big business.
They can't play an instrument with a mask on.
But it's big business, no question about it. And I don't know exactly how they'll do it, but they'll find some way, because at Troy, band is big business. I've said this, and y'all are not going to believe. They're going to say, Mike, what are you talking about? But people have watched this show over the years. Troy University is one of the very few universities in the country where their band is very important. Their university. You talking about, of course, the $1 Million Band in Alabama up here, or the football team up here, the band down here, Auburn's band football team up here, the band's down here, and ladies and gentlemen, the Troy University football team's team is here as far as importance to the school, and then right next to it is the Sound of the South band. They're that important to Troy University, and by that I say, hey, the band will have some interaction, I promise you, at every Troy football game.
The question is, where can they practice where they can spread out like you're describing?
They've got a big practice field.
I guess they got that practice field.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe it's big enough, but really, are these students really going to stay 6 feet apart from each other the whole time? And then football players aren't going to be able to stay 6 feet apart from each other.
Yeah.
So the band, let them practice like they always do. And
it's going to be different regardless. And of course, it would tickle me wouldn't that be impressive to see the Sound South just covering the entire south end of the end zone or the stadium? And I would think that they could put them about as far away as they wanted to. But hey.
Well, I mean, the alumni house, the alumni house, you still help out up there. I mean, shoot, there's not going to be any tailgating before games. There won't be any
Wait a minute. You don't know that, son.
There won't be any gathering. I mean, it's just not going to be allowed.
Yeah, son, you don't know that.
I'm 100% sure that first football game there'll be no fans.
We'll spread them out.
No, all that's over with, buddy.
Well, all right, exactly right. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we've got our opinion. You've got your opinion. And I will say this, that Troy University is moving very fast toward starting the classes, I want to say the 12th of August. And we'll have more information on that tomorrow. Have a great day. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned to the to my buddy Jeffrey Bennett and his show called the Wiley Sanders Truck Line Show right here in Troy, Alabama. Have a good day. We'll see you again tomorrow.